Hello guys, and welcome back to our video. In today's video I decided I'm going to be giving you guys some help on how to build your own military vehicles. Since about 2 weeks ago, from the time I'm recording this, I posted a video where I gave you guys tips on how to get Lego military vehicles, or from where to buy instructions or minifigures. And in today's video I decided I'm going to be giving you tips and tricks on how to build your own military vehicles. In this video I'm going to be including planes, helicopters, and even some ground vehicles like armored vehicle, a simple pickup truck, and even a mobile entire defense vehicle. Yeah. And at the end of the video I'm also going to be showing guys how to build accessories like missiles, fuel tanks, excuse me, missile fuel tanks, and we'll see what I'll find. So let's just start from the beginning. There's going to be timestamps hopefully on this video, and let's start with what I have in front of me: aircrafts. So at the moment I have two models of aircrafts right here. I have an F-22, which is kind of dusty, and I have an F-18 Hornet. Yeah, pretty simple. So we're going to start with the techniques. So the most complicated thing that it should also be the first thing that you start with is the nose and the cockpit. The cockpit is the most complicated because they sometimes have these weird shapes that you need to get right. And then the nose, because you need to get the length of it, you know, the shape of it, and everything that's over there. And after that the wings are easy, the body and the back part, it's easy. Now if you do the nose part, as you can see over here, you basically finish the aircraft, and the third hardest thing is just to get the wing shapes right. But I'll tell you how to get the wing shapes right when we get to parts, and I'll tell you what parts to use, of course. So let's start with the nose, if that's the most complicated part. In my time of building aircrafts, I have used various techniques on building the nose. The one that I have right here, the models that I have right here, have two different techniques, and we'll take a look at both of them. Yeah, so we're going to start with the technique of the nose that it's on the F-22. The F-22 is the first jet that I've built and my most proudest achievement. As you can see on the back side, it uses one of those inverted wedge bricks plates. I don't really know what it's called, but it uses this plate from from jet skis. Then we have a layer of wedge plates over here, now wings plates. Then there's the reverse piece of the piece from below, and it's pretty simple. You know, there's also some parts like these that allow me to put a little bit of more detail and thickness, so it won't be like flat. It won't be flat or something like over here, so it won't just be flat. Then I also included over here some more of these parts, so it, you know, it gets that aerodynamic look. That is something that you need to achieve to make it aerodynamic, because when you're going to see my helicopter, the shit box is just a box. I need to improve it. Yeah. And this is the first technique for the nose. And for the cockpit, I recommend using this piece, and there are other windscreen parts that you can use that are very easy to use. Yeah, just snap that in, and if the cockpit fits two people, you're in luck. You just take two of them, put them back to back, and you're done. You don't need a entire system like this over here. Just slowly transit. Excuse me. If you do have to slowly transit, I would recommend using a build like this. It is also a headrest, and you use those two parts. Just easily snap it in there, and it's very smooth transition, and just go in Over here is not a smooth transition, but it looks pretty good on the least. So that is the first technique for the cockpit. Now the second technique that I would recommend is the one that I've used on the F-18, and I'm going to keep using this technique because I find it very effective. So it's basically, I'm gonna let you take a look at it from the inside if I can. Yeah, like that. So basically the technique is two of those parts over here, one on one side, one on the other side, with one of these bricks and some of those bricks. I forgot what her name is. Also get some of those in there, and when you snap them together, it looks really cool. The only thing you're going to have to take care of is this gap over here, but you can copy this design type build. And for the nose, I would really recommend one of those parts or a cone. It works out either way. Oh, and you see you've got the entire shape of the nose. It's a really long nose. It does fit the F-18. And then over here you can snap one of those parts. As you can see, put one of those axles, snap another one of those, slide it in. And you can also do those bricks with studs on the side. Take one of those slopes, slide them in there like that, and then you take one of those slopes, smooth slopes, curved slopes, and you can slide it in. There's gonna be a small gap, but it does look good. You can do the same on the other side, and if you're good enough, you might not be able to, but you could try to fit a landing gear in here. I tried and I failed because there's not a lot of room for landing gear, but you can try if you're good enough. And then for the F-18, this part of the nose, it's not connected that strong. It's not as strong connected, so it can snap off pretty easily. But no, then also here you can add one of those parts and one of these tiles or something to snap it in, to snap the nose in even better, and it's pretty much done. Now for the cockpit of the F-18, you need to do something like this. You cannot really do it the same as the F-35, and also I should also modify the F-35, the F-22, sorry, it's an F-22. The F-22 one, I should also modify it. But over here you can do a brick built one over here, and then use on this end side you can use the same part because it's going to open more realistically. And if you want to build this one, I'm also going to show it to you. So you're going to take one of those hinges, one of those glass, a tile, and two of those sloped transparent parts. And then for the side you're going to have some plates and some slopes, and you go one slope, one plate, one slope, two plates, one slope, three plates, one slope. The same on the other side. Then you arrange them like this with that hinge over there. Just slide this one in first, then slide this one in, and then they lock really good in place. It's a little bit blocky, but it looks nice, and there are minimum gaps. So I recently saw this technique, and I'm probably going to use it forever now. Damn, this is going to be a long video. But that is with the cockpit on how in the nose of the planes. Now when you get to wings, here there are also two techniques that I've used in my life, and I would prefer one over the other depending on what you're building. So if you're building hyper realistic planes, you want flaps, you want wings that can fold like the F-18 over here, you're going to use plate with wedge plates wings. That way you can incorporate hinges over here, or also for flaps. Now pretty easy. I'm going to show you how to do them in a second. And if you want something smooth, something that just looks good, you can use this snot technique over here on the wings. You just build a massive you just build the shape of the wing with bricks. You know, I also put the sticker over there. Then you take some of those bricks with studs and you just slide it in. The more bricks with studs over here, the more stronger the connection is. Yeah. Now let's get to how to build those flaps. If you turn it upside down, you can see there are some hinges in there. Now try to space them a little bit to hide them. And there's also hinges over here. I would recommend using a combination of one of those clip hinges, one of those other types of hinges, and then a normal hinge, not the clip ones. You know, this technique was also used in the Star Wars ATT. This is where I've learned it from, and it snaps. It moves very good. It moves at a decent speed. I mean, it's not fast as if you're using bar and clips, and it's not slow as if you're using only those normal hinges. Yeah, it does break a little bit. It's the way I build it makes it a little fragile, but if you reinforce it with some tiles, bricks, and other things, okay, plates and curved slopes, you know, you can get a really good shape. Shoot that one over here as well. Okay. Now moving on to the back wings and the stabilizers and everything. Okay, I think those are. Moving on to the back, you can also do. You can do them however you want. If you need to get them angled, you can just take some of those hinges, slide them in, and angle them the way you want. Right there. If you want to angle them any other way, you can use those hinges and then brick build, and it's pretty simple. This plane is really brick built. The F-22 is brick built, and it might be cheaper if you do it this way because you only have to buy like a lot of slopes, of brick slopes, and then some bricks to fill in the gaps. Now for the back tails over here, if you want a lot of mobility out of them, you know, 360 rotation, if nothing is blocking them, 360 rotation, you know, and you want them to move, you can very easily do that. You use one of those bricks with studs in them, and you use one of those parts on the wing, and that's it. And you can also have one of those angled brick wings over here, so you know, you can just slap it in and bam. Now if you want again a brick build version, pretty simple, the same as for the wings. You slap in some of those parts, you slap in some of those parts, and bam, just brick build. Oh, this video is getting very long, but we still need to discuss engines for aircrafts, and there are different ways. You can also build them like this, you know, you build them in. I used those slow parts to get the effect of the twin engine on the F-22. Okay, and if you want to do engines that are more accurate and realistic looking, you can use the technique that I've used over here. Let me just slide them out. You use one of those parts, and then this round part with bars around it. Take clips and those curved slopes, you slide them in like this, and you get this cool ass engine. You just take one of those parts, slide it in. You can also use a round plate in there, and you can easily slide it in. Bam, and it's done. You've slide it in, have it in. You know. Be careful if you put them too close to each other. These areas might not be the best. So yeah, that's pretty much how you build those aircrafts. I do gotta say that before I move on, I do gotta say that I'm going to be breaking this video into two parts. The air part is going to be here, this video, and the next video is going to be the ground vehicles, because it's going to be too long if I continue with this. Yeah. Okay. Now, moving on to weapons and accessories. For aircrafts, you're mainly going to have 2 to 3 weapons that you can use. This is going to be a fuel tank. I got this simple design for if you're using this wing technique. So this simple design, you take one of those engine parts. You can also combine 2 together, but if you have a limited amount, I would recommend using an axle, 2 of those round bricks, and 1 of those either smooth or cone brick. Just sliding it through. There's a axle hole over there. Just slide it through and you get yourself your fuel tank. If you want gun pods, you can do the same, and you could add like here, I'll show you. You can add like, one moment. And you can add like one of those bricks over there. One of those, okay, not bricks, but small part over there, and it looks like a gun pod. Pretty simple, nothing that complicated. If you want missiles over here on this part of the wing, you can use here one of those parts with some clips like that. So the clips are over there to clip the missile on, and then you take one of those spears. This part is very important for missiles, so you take 2 of those parts. You take either gray or orange or yellow, you know, what color you want your missile to look like. You take them, you put them together like this, then you slide it in there. I did it for both sides, so I have 2 of those missiles. You see over here one and over here one. And if you want missiles on the aircraft itself, I would recommend using this technique. You basically get one of those parts, so if you unload the missile, it look like there's something over there to clip on, and the missile would look like this, pretty small. You can also put a bar through it to make it even stronger, so it won't fall apart. And then this side sits on this side, this side sits on this side, and just clip it in onto the wing, just like this over. Oh yeah, I can't remember the focus. Just like this over here. And you also put your fuel tank wherever you feel like it. I slide it over there, and this is an armed aircraft. For landing gear, you can use this simple piece over here. And now we're going to go into parts to use and parts that you must buy. So for landing gear, again, just use those. Now another part that you're going to need are wedge plates. If you're building the wings with the wedge plate technique, you know, you can just use different sizes and different angles of wedge plates depending on the angle of the wings. So yeah, wedge plates, have a lot of those. Plates 2x6, 2x2, 2x4 plates, 1x2, 1x6 plates. I have some over here. 1x4 plates. Smaller plates should help you, and you're also probably going to need 2 or 3 of those bigger plates for the base itself. If you're building this technique, slow parts, a little bit of bricks, you know, 1 by 2 bricks, slow bricks like this, slow brick like this, regular bricks just to fill in the holes. And another very important part would be those over here. Let me just get one of these aircraft. And just those slopes, those 1x2 slopes or 2x2 slopes, and also the inverted slopes are very good. Tiles, you also need some tiles in there. If you're building missiles, you can also build this missile like this with smoke on here. If you're building missiles, those parts you need a lot of them. You need 2 per missile, so if you have 10 of those, you can only build 5 missiles. So be careful how you build your missiles, you know. Cylinders, cones, and that's pretty much it with parts. Try scattering parts. You can also use Studio if you want to plan out before you build. And here's a tip: whenever you build, try and implement a couple of features that aircraft has. For example, if it has wings that can close, do those. You don't need to do every single small detail, like every single flap, every single air brake. You can have only a basic flap, you know, the wings closing. You don't even need to have flaps if you want only to display them. So it's also depending on what purpose you need the aircraft. And don't try to make them on scale. It won't work. It's going to cost a lot of parts and a lot of money. Make them smaller, make them compact, you know, because probably you don't have a lot of area to display your models. If you want to build a bomber like the B2, this is very easy, just slopes and bricks and piles. This is easy to do, not that hard. So use the techniques I told you in this video. Buy the parts that I recommended and parts that you're going to need. Plan the aircraft out. Look for reference materials. If you're blocked at a specific area, search other people's MOCs. Take inspiration from them, you know. Don't copy, just take inspiration from the technique they used over there. Just you use this technique, okay, you can use that technique too, but don't copy the entire aircraft, because then it's not original and you might not be proud of your work. Yeah. In the next video I'm going to cover land vehicles, pickup trucks, reconnaissance vehicles, artillery vehicles, and in the third video I'm going to cover helicopters, because I'm going to need to improve mine helicopter before I can give you tips on how to do yours. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video, and watch this video that is right here, and you can also check another video over here, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.